jump into this conversation and talk about some technology implementation, data center trends that I've seen in the industry. So first things first, it's good to be in the data center business. I mean, that's one of the things that we've seen out there in terms of organizations doing well. And a lot of respondents expected meaningful increases in data center measures over the next 3 years. So the average number of data centers are going to grow. The average number of data centers to be renovated is going to grow. The average numbers to be built. And obviously the square footage of some of these data centers is going to grow as well. And this is really, really evident with how much cloud is being used, how on-premise locations are being used. And if you hear, conversation on how cloud is taking things over, it's really not. Any single report, Jones Lang LaSalle, Gartner, IDC, you just, pop in, Ashburn, North Carolina, or really anywhere across the entire United States, and you're going to see these kinds of trends in data center facilities. So if you're listening to this, it's good to be in the data center business. It's also good to adopt and work with new and innovative technologies that allow for greater efficiency, greater levels of density, and an easier data center to manage. Now, to that extent, let's talk about a new topic like edge, right? And if you've been talking or hearing about this concept of edge, we did ask about it. And we asked about it from our thousands upon thousands of respondents, and we were very, very curious about it. Now, hang on a second, guys. Before I go to the next slide, I kind of want to break things down a little bit, and I want to be honest with you. I still am a big proponent of edge computing. I think it's critical with more IoT connected devices. You want to be able to process this data as close to the source as possible. Now, I was also part of that marketing engine that actually thought that edge was ubiquitous. It was everywhere. People were adopting it. It is the next greatest thing in technology since sliced bread. I don't know why you'd have that in technology, but it's the next best thing out there. And I was very surprised to find that only 23% of people are actually only implementing edge compute capacity right now. So we are still climbing that hype curve, if you want to call it that, or that hill of adoption, right? Where an additional 34% are planning to do this over the next 3 years. And it doesn't have to be a massive expanse of a location. It can be only up to 6. And remember, when we talk about edge compute capacity, these aren't large data centers. I mean, it could be something connected to a telco site, to next to a building. It could be something that lights up a smart intersection, for example. They don't have to be massive. But this statistic specifically tells me that people are looking at it at the very least, and they're going to be planning on adopting it in the near future as the proliferation of data and as all of this continues to grow. Because remember, centralizing everything in a cloud environment for edge compute requirements, it's not going to work. It's just not always financially feasible. And a lot of the times the cloud still has proximity issues. So you need to rely on partners to be able to deploy some of these ecosystem components for that real-time data processing at the edge. So right now I was woken up a little bit, right? I got woke, and I basically understood that we're still in the early stages of edge, and that there's so much more business to be had in this segment. So really sort of interesting statistic. And if you guys are ever curious, I am keeping an eye on the webinar chat. So if you guys want to pop something in there and drop a note or a comment, you might have a live response for me. Maybe you're seeing something similar around edge or something along those lines. Now, I want to apologize for the wordiness of this slide, right? And I was thinking about how I can cut this down and how I can actually make it a little bit smaller. But I really find that a lot of these things are going to be really important. When we asked the respondents what they're going to be doing as far as technology implementation planning and what they're going to be deploying, flash storage was at the very top, and like rightfully so, right? It's great for density. It creates less heat. You could do a lot of really fun things on all flash storage. It's definitely enterprise ready, so you can put more different kinds of workloads on there. But time out a second, you guys, time out a second. Take a look at the second and the fourth items on that list. If you guys get a chance, you can actually download the first report that we did, the second report we did, and then this third latest report that we've done. And if you actually take a look at some of the published articles that I've done, I compare some of these. Linux container management and orchestration tools and OpenStack were way down that list, even just a year ago. And all of a sudden, I see him jump to number 2 and number 4. And there's really, really good reason behind it. So if this is new to you, if you don't know what a Linux container is, if you don't know what OpenStack is for, hybrid cloud and multi-cloud management, just Google it. Just start researching this stuff, because it's clear that data center professionals are actively investing in it. And here's why. They're trying to plan ahead, and they're trying to host these advanced workloads that our data centers are now hosting. Because here's the thing, people aren't going to cloud. The cloud is not the ultimate pinnacle of an answer that everyone's trying to go to. They're asking leading data center providers in the enterprise space as well as at the co-location, can you support Linux containers? Can you scale? Do you have intelligence built into your data center? Do you have density? Can you support greater levels of hyperconvergence or convergence that are going to have these containerized management? Do you have capabilities like interconnect and connectivity capabilities to support OpenStack? Do you have good connectivity into the cloud? What's your latency like? Can we lay OpenStack over this connection protocol and this architecture to actually be able to control and manage a cloud, an on-premise, and multi-cloud ecosystem? These are the questions that are being asked right now of traditional data center vendors and partners and even enterprise people. And those that can say, yeah, not a problem, we can handle that and we can work with it, are the ones that are going to be getting that new kind of business, AI processing, doing things like data analytics, doing things like advanced DevOps, refactoring applications between cloud and the data center. You know, I'm speaking a different language, but all of this specifically impacts everything that we do within the data center. So I'm not surprised to see those 2 points go up, but I'm really, really excited about it as well. I think this is a new era for the data center to help support some of the most advanced technologies out there. And again, when you take a look at what's actually happening in the space, cloud, like I was mentioning earlier, is going to be a big, big factor, and it's going to continue to play a role. But what I really feel is that it's not going to be taking things over. And to meet some of these new advanced data center needs, just like I mentioned, you're going to be looking at cloud services. And within the next 3 years, that's how it's going to be done. It's going to be deployed alongside new build. It's going to be deployed along with expanding capacity. And it's going to be used heavily to meet the needs of a modern data center business. But I need to make everyone aware that cloud is not replacing things. It's here as a complement. Again, it's a powerful solution to allow an organization to scale. And just so you kind of can think about it as well, hybrid will absolutely become the new normal. Hybrid and multi-cloud, if anything else. Those are some of the newest architectures that are out there. And I absolutely feel those are going to be the environments that are going to be able to really, really change things out there. Now, as far as what the respondents said are the most impactful cloud trends, that was really, really interesting. Integration with AI, data-driven services and machine learning, IoT, for example, and obviously growth around big data. And respondents are far more likely to implement things like private clouds, followed by things like public and hybrid cloud models. So check that out. I mean, the cloud isn't dead, certainly, and certainly isn't the data center. And private clouds are absolutely popular models to allow organizations to sort of integrate and expand into new kinds of avenues to support their environments. So, you know, as you take this all in, I know there's a lot of information. So think about some of these new advanced trends, right? Supporting DevOps, supporting OpenStack, Linux containers and microservices. These are language points and words and terminologies that were once relegated only to cloud providers. And now data center managers and leaders are absolutely taking a look at this as well, because they're being asked to support new and advanced types of connections.